Hi, I'm Dail Deri, and I'm a professional portrait photographer. We're here at Philippine Center for Creative Imaging, and today we'll be doing a conceptual portrait photography for Gael Papillon. And helping with me for today's shoot are China, Kim, and Enzo. They're my photography students here. So for today, we're going to do just that, conceptual portrait photography. And so maybe we can go ahead and start now. Let's
do it.
All right. For now, we're going to do the lighting for the shattered face first. So I'm going to take several shots of Gael, just doing different facial expressions, facing different directions. And then for another lighting, we're going to do the one for the second frame, the one with the flower shot. Okay, so let's do the first frame first. So now we're going to take Gael's shot. So this shot is for the parang shattered glass effect. So it's like he had a mask on and then it's going to shatter into million pieces. So my camera settings are the same. It's 1/125. So it's relatively a fast shutter speed, but just enough to cut out the ambient light. And then f8, because in terms of depth of field, you want your subject to be sharp from at least his nose to his ear. And then ISO 100 because we have enough light for for ISO 100. We have 3 lights set up. So 2 at his back and then 1 here in front, giving him Rembrandt or loop lighting depending on the angle of his face. At this point, all I'm gonna do is ask him just do different poses, different directions for his face and eyes. Okay, hood part and okay, and maybe just it's good. Yeah, that's good. Eyes here, good. Frown a little bit, same here. Frown, good. And then just look down. That's good. Alright. Other side. Okay. And then next, I'm going to change the one light. Okay, we're just gonna switch lights. So from barn door and honeycomb, we're gonna switch to just a beauty dish. This is for the in preparation for the flower shots. All right, so hang on. So now what we're gonna do is the flower shot. So we changed the lighting to beauty lighting, so with a beauty dish. And then helping us with the flower are Enzo and China. So they're gonna throw it at Gael's, hopefully his nape. And then this is where a lot of where coordination really matters, and it calls for good timing also. When you're shooting portraits, you always focus on the eyes. So kung angled yung face, it's the eye closer to the camera. Okay. Okay. So let's hold this sit. Simangot ng konti. Chin down a little bit. Alright. And ready. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. So here we are now at the post-production part. Conceptual photography is about starting with the end in mind. So that means you already know or have an idea of the effect that you want to have in your final photo. We were dealing with flower and motion, action earlier. That involves good timing, good coordination from the model and the assistants. And sometimes things do not always work out the way you want them to. And that's why you have post-production. Okay, so for this one, we're gonna use Photoshop to get the elements that we want from each frame, merge them in one photo so that we achieve the vision that we actually had in mind. So here we have 2 photos of Gael. Because I have an extra screen here, I can actually have the navigator panel here, and then it won't eat up my space here on the screen. But for the other photo over here, we have a parang smoke, no? I like yung shape nung hood niya dito. So I think I want to combine this plus yung smoke and also this clumps here. Alright, so let's start. So, very easy. I'll just go ahead and drag this layer to this one. Okay, so I can close the other one, work with this. Alright. You should always work in layers. And if you have a lot of layers, it helps if isang mahaba, like right now I have an extension of my layer so that I don't need to scroll if I'm looking for one layer. Okay, so since it extends to the extra screen that I have. So now I have the two images. Here, we're gonna get the smoke part here and the hood, and then we're gonna maintain, for this picture, we're gonna maintain this. First, you have to align them. I'm just gonna bring down the opacity of the top layer. Then, okay, zoom in tayo konti. Just try to align the photos as best as we can. So I'm checking the nose and the eye. So pag align na yan, then more or less we're good. Okay, so now I can change the opacity back to 100%. And now my goal is to bring out the layer underneath. Okay, so here, okay, we can use the mask. Okay, so we have a mask tool and then brush. Just make sure you have kind of hardness for your brush that you need. So sample, okay, if I want, okay, this part, change the opacity of the brush. Okay. If you want to bring back yung nasa top layer, just hit X. So that's the key that you're gonna use here. So, you can do that. Me, ayoko tong nasa taas masyado, so I can just maintain that. So, we can navigate, we can check here on our second screen, which kind of functions like a second monitor to me. Yan, zoom in lang. So, check ano yung mga hindi malinis, like this part, then we have to clean that. Actually, the mask tool is a great tool to use for this situation. Because pag nagkamali ka, then it's easy to bring, kind of erase it. So here, we double check everything. So you'll see that parang doble yung shoulder niya. So just go ahead and erase that part. As a good practice, then you can go ahead and do a before and after to check what changed. And then later on, we will add the parang shattered glass effect with his other facial expressions and reactions. You know, sometimes in the process of editing your work, you have a vision in mind, but along the way, you kind of discover new ways of editing something or maybe new effect that you want. So for now, I'm thinking kind of like a shattered glass effect. So the idea is I have different faces of Gael. Okay, so iba-ibang direction yung face niya. And then from each face, I'm going to get a part of it, which is going to be the shattered glass. So for example here, very simple. I'm just gonna use the lasso tool and then let's say I just want the eye. Okay. Most of the time, okay, if you're gonna do a shattered glass effect, yung glass when it breaks, normally it's in triangular pieces. So you can just keep that in mind. Alright, so once we've selected that, just make it another layer and then drag that to the picture that we've edited earlier, and then switch it. Okay. If the look is for it, like it's shattering away or being moved away from his face, pwede mong i-distort yung perspective ng konti. Okay. Alright. So here, yeah, let's try and do that with another one. Okay. It's important for it to have some dimension. Let's go to my second monitor, zoom in on this part. Okay, so what I want is for this to have some kind of thickness, parang ganun. And then we're gonna cheat that. I think one of the easy ways is to go for, okay, let's say, we can try bevel and emboss. So a good thing, what I like here is that I can actually use this. Okay, so forget about the mouse and then adjust the panels that I have here because this is touch screen. Let's try that. So I can play with the depth, play with the size, soften. So one thing I've learned over the years is that if you're not sure of what the effect is going to be, then go ahead and try it. So sometimes all you need is do it already and then experiment and then, do some adjustments. Okay. So now, and then you can also go and not inner shadow, go for drop shadow, but change the color to white. Okay. So I'm just thinking, dun sa actual shoot, merong backlight CGL dito. So my pieces are also gonna have some kind of backlight from the same side. Okay. Okay. So click OK, and then, so that's the rough part. Okay. And then you're gonna apply the same thing to all the pieces, which it needs some kind of focus. Yeah, you have to have good attention to details, but that's how you create things. So this is the final artwork. That's the good thing about working with a concept first. Because everything you do, again, from start to finish, should all lead to that final image that you have in mind. For me, I think we have translated into image the model's motto, which is minor setback, major comeback. So for me, whatever equipment you're using in your artwork, it's really only just a tool. But the thing is, if you're using a tool that is specifically designed for the kind of work that you do, then it helps you be more efficient in your workflow. So for instance, the ZenBook Duo has the ScreenPad Plus. So if you're a Photoshop user like me, imagine you can bring all your tools down to the ScreenPad Plus, or you can also allot one space for other windows that you need. Okay, but here in this project, I put all my tools in the ScreenPad Plus, and then that gave me a bigger space for my main screen. If you work with the right tools, with the right equipment, then you'll have an efficient, very efficient workflow. My advice for the other aspiring artists is that for you to let your inner weirdness shine and your inner creativity shine. That way, hopefully, the other weirdos and other creatives will be inspired to do the same, to inspire other people as well. Since people rely on vision, that your images are very powerful, no matter what type of artwork that is. Digital artwork, okay, or if you're painting, but your images are very powerful. So use that talent to inspire other people and to make this world, you know, a better place to look at and to be in. I'm Dail Deri, a professional portrait photographer and photography instructor, and a ZenBook Duo user. This has been Do You with Duo. Hi, this is Dail Deri, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to ASUS Philippines to catch more episodes of Do You with Duo.